Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
What's up, guys? This is Sakura A, and I am actually here for our special edition of predictions for tonight. That's right, we got Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolando Romero. Guys, I have gotten about 15 to 20 texts asking me who I got. And I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. We have to go live and we have to get to the bottom of this. Too many people got too many predictions right now, but I wanted to bring you guys some of them live. And then we'll find out exactly what I think. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get it started right quick. And my first guest is going to be no other than the Boxing Playhouse's Latin America podcaster. Yes, also Florida Boxing Hall of Famer, Danny Santiago. What's up, my man? Are you
Hello, Sakura. Hello, Boxing
excited?
Playhouse family. How you guys doing?
I'm doing okay, but are you excited?
I'm very excited. I got the pizza ready. I got my little Malta and some drinks over here ready to go, some juices.
All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get to it. Basically, Tank Davis versus Rolando Romero. Who you got?
Two things. First, tonight, look out for Luis Melendez, Choo Melendez. We had him as a guest, and he's stepping up today. He's a very talented fighter. Matter of fact, Tank Davis at the weigh-in and press conference, he gave it a shout out. He told everybody to look out for him. I'm seconding that. Everybody needs to look out for this kid. He's gonna show some skills tonight, and I'm sure he's gonna win. He's gonna do well. Now for the Tank Davis Rolando Romero deal, You wanna know what? I'm with Tank. You know, this kid talked himself into this fight. God bless him. He did what he had to do to put himself in his position. Right. But talk is cheap, you know. And I mean, I hope it goes 5 rounds. I don't think it'll go past 5 rounds. I like him to get hit with a nice body shot like Tank does. He works different levels. But I pick Tank all day. Okay.
So basically, you're saying Tank in 4 or Tank in 5?
In less than 5. I think this kid is going to come out and, you know, I don't think he's going to go for the knockout the first round. I think that's all a sight game. But I think Tank's going to take a round or 2 to figure him out because he's a technician, and he's going to put him to sleep before 5.
All right. So basically, Danny Santiago has Tank all the way, and he thinks it's going to be by a KO or a stoppage, guys. Chime in and let me know if you agree with Santiago. Thank you so much, Santiago, for being with us today. And
see y'all Wednesday.
Yes, and as he mentioned, don't forget Choo Choo. You can see all the undercard. It's going to start on Showtime Boxing's YouTube page. If you would like to see some of people like Choo Choo, as well as Jaleel Hackett perform on this card. Thank you so much. All right, next up, of course, is our heavy bag boxing guru, our amazing, sometimes very, very controversial man of heavy bag boxing. Yes, it's Rob Bass. What's going on, Rob? How you doing?
What's up, Shakira? I'm good. I'm looking forward to tonight as well.
Are we excited or what? Are we excited?
No, because I know it's gonna happen, but it's okay. I'm excited to see
fireworks. Right to it? No problem. Okay, let's get right to it then. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolando Romero. Who you got?
Listen, Rolly fights off of emotion, and he comes in right off the opening bell with a lot of emotion. He throws a lot of punches at you, you know, and he's real careless in there in the beginning. Tank is mad. He saw it at the weigh-in. He's very, very, very pissed off right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Tank don't end this in 1, but I'm going to go with a 2nd round KO for Tank. I think that once Riley comes out and he gets too careless, he's gonna get knocked down in the first, maybe even a couple of knockdowns in the first round. Okay. And then Tank's gonna go in for a vicious, and you heard it first, vicious uppercut to end the fight in 2.
Wow. Okay. So a second round KO is Rob Base's predictions today, guys. And is there anybody else that you're looking forward to seeing on the card tonight?
You know, I'm always a big fan of old school Lara. I love Lara. I love him to death. I think he's a hell of a fighter. I've always been a fan. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him back in action in the ring. And you know, he always surprises us in fights like these, because when we think he's gonna have a long 12-round drawn out decision, he can have a knockout. So that's what I'm excited to see tonight.
All right, where Kareem Wilson doesn't agree with you.
Here we go, Kareem. Here we go.
George Gervonta.
Let me tell you something. I mentioned you in our chat today, Kareem, because I said, because everybody's picking Tank and they're picking him by KO, TKO within 4 or 5 rounds. I said everybody but this man, Mr. Kareem Wilson, who's picking Raleigh tonight by unanimous decision.
So you're saying Rolly doesn't have any chance? Is that what we're hearing from you?
I'm telling people to please don't be a Kareem Wilson, okay? Pick smart in this fight. Raleigh has no chance, y'all. No chance whatsoever.
All right. So once again, that is Rob coming in, and he's saying basically Gervonta in 2. And he also says definitely look out for a throwback fighter like Lara to come in and, you know, give us a great performance. Thank you so much, Rob. We appreciate your predictions.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Okay. So next up, of course, we have the Hunter. That's right. We're talking about the Hunter from Right Hook Promotions out of Gulfport, Mississippi, baby. And he's coming with his predictions next, guys. And thanks so much for all of our viewers coming in and shouting out what you think and who you think is going to win. Let's go ahead and take it to the mat. Let's get our man, the Hunter. What's up, Hunter? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. I just came back from buying a gold sink. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I had to, you know, put my 2 cents in on this.
Okay.
I saw Rob just said a knockout in 2. I bet my house that doesn't happen. Period.
Oh, you don't think Tank can get him out of there in 2 rounds?
Impossible. Look, this fight right here. Yesterday when I saw Tank's jaw sucked in, he's dried up. The last time I saw him like that is whenever he fought Francisco Francesca. And I think he got put to work on that fight. So me personally, I mean, the odds are there. I win again for the first time ever. And I also hit the over after 6.5 rounds.
You breaking up on us. You broke as soon as you said what round and who, you broke up. So repeat that.
Okay. I bet it against Tank. I think Rolly, you know, he looked good yesterday, even though he got pushed off the stage. He looks like he's ready. Tank is to the point where he cannot fight at 35. He vacated 140 on purpose because they got some heat for him at 140. So he stayed around at 135. I think it goes a full 12. I would bet, like, if you know me, I would bet on a DQ before I would bet on the fight ending in less than 6.5 rounds.
Okay. Well, there you go. Wait a minute, though. Hold on a second. So you saying basically, I'm trying to get it straight. Nope. You don't think that Romero has a chance in hell of winning this fight?
No, I think he wins the fight. I bet on him to win the fight.
You were talking about
Tank. No. I bet against Tank for the first time ever. All right. When I saw his face shrunk at that weigh-in yesterday, I put my money on Tank is not gonna look. I see the fight being way tougher than what people think it is. He's fixing to get tested tonight. You got to think of all the animosity with Floyd. You know, he said that's his last fight with Floyd. You know, Floyd might have them judges in his pocket. It's hard to say. But I don't think he has a chance to get him out in the second, definitely before the 6.5. So that's a lock. Bet on 6.5 and over. You're gonna win your money. I bet on Rolly because the odds. I mean, when I got in, it was 9-1. So I had to go with the 9-1 odds, and I had to go with the over 6.5.
Yes, now these odds are looking good. You got 900 and Rolly's getting plus 550.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a lot of money to be made for him.
We'll see. The whole thing about this fight is sketchy. When I saw the way he looked at that weigh-in, I'm telling you, he can't make that 35 anymore. It's killing him. So this is probably the worst he's looked at weigh-in since Francisco Fonseca. Right. And Francisco would have beat him if he didn't get DQ'd. So safe bet tonight, hands down, bet on over 6.5, and I would put a little money on a DQ.
All right, well, DQ. Oh my goodness, that's really saying something. I mean, I'm shocked at your prediction right now. I have to be honest. But I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. But who else on the card are you looking forward to seeing tonight?
To be honest with you, I haven't even looked at the undercard. We got bare knuckle and Biloxi tonight. I'm trying to hurry up and get everything done so I can make the bare knuckle fight. So I'm gonna stream just the tank fight on my phone while I'm at the bare knuckle.
Okay, well, we wish you the best. Shout out to the bare knuckles crew. And what I wanted to just say is, Will, if you actually get this prediction right, you're going to be one of the only people that have been on our show predicting that Rolly will win the fight. I mean, I just want you to realize.
Look, I always go with the underdog, and I don't dick ride. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think this right here is a perfect opportunity for an actual upset. Just like people thought,
Cambosis.
Bivol. That wasn't going to happen in a million years. Period. Never going to happen. I hit on that, but I didn't pick my horse for the Kentucky Derby, so my parlay fell off. Safe bet tonight, over 6.5 rounds. And like I said, what is it, 1,001 for a DQ? That pays $100 per dollar. Bet $10 on that, win $100, no problem.
Wow, this is big right here. This is huge news right here.
If you frustrate Tank, he fights dirty. Just like when he fought Fonseca, he hit him when he was down. He should have been DQ'd, and they DQ'd Fonseca for not getting up. That was a dirty bout. But Tank knew that cutting to 140, he didn't make weight for that fight. I mean, 135, I think. He didn't make weight for that fight at all. I think he weighed 142 that night. So he had all the advantages of the world. He started out good, but then Francisco started touching him. Yesterday, I'm telling you, he looked like he was hanging out with Pookie and smoking them pipes. I mean, he was just drawed up. It's a bad look tonight for him.
Now, I would have to be lying if I didn't say I noticed that his cheekbones were pretty pronounced at the weigh-in, and that push. When he pushed Rolly off the side, Rolly was his feet was already kind of hanging off halfway. So
he was back on stage by the time he hit the ground. So he's ready to go. Now, I mean, I don't know what kind of rehydration process. Now, I will say that about Tank. He usually gains 15 to 20 pounds. So whatever he does works. But I don't think he looked as dried up, or he didn't look near as bad as Rolly did. Rolly, like, he was ready to rock. If the fight happened yesterday, Tank loses definitely. Let's see how he rehydrates and see if he looks, back right tonight. But if not, it's going to be a bad look for him.
All right, so let me get this prediction straight. Hunter has Rolando Romero in 5?
No. It has to go. Look, I honestly, I just went with Romero because of the odds. All right. I think it's going to be a better fight than what people think. The only thing I'm locking in is it goes more than 6.5 rounds. No way he gets stopped in less than 6.5. And then I also put a little bet on the DQ because you frustrate Tank, he fights dirty. So that's my 3-pick parlay. I couldn't parlay the DQ because it would mess my other money up, but I put separate money on it. But if I'm a betting man, you want to for sure win tonight, go with 6.5 and the over.
Okay, so Hunter says if you want to make that coins, then you definitely need to put it on Rolly, and you may want to do it within 7 rounds. So
no. Rolly might hit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's gonna go to distance. It's gonna go more than 6.5 rounds, or it's gonna go to distance.
Okay,
So,
but you said 6.5 rounds, so I went with that.
No, the over. That's the over and the under. So for me to get paid, it has to make it to the 7th round, or anything past that. What I'm saying is, Tank has no shot of stopping him 6.5 or less. He will see the 7th bell. Anybody that bets on that will get paid.
All right, so Will gave us the betting odds, and he's telling you who to go with right now, and we've got to respect that. Now, I just want to make sure that you understand now, if that doesn't come to fruition, you're going to have something, you're going to have some questions to answer.
I can hold up for it. Like I said, the 6.5, you don't have to bet on a winner or loser. It doesn't matter who wins or loses, as long as it makes it to the 7th round. And when I bet, I think it was 8-1 odds or 9-1 odds. I mean, I can't turn that down after the weigh-in when I saw the cheekbones. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Tank is overrated, but he has been groomed pretty good. I can't knock TMT for the way Heyman, how they brought him up. If this is his last fight under the TMT ban, where does he go? What happens? What's next? Who's going to pick him up? Who can afford to fight him?
All right, well, we're going to see if there's going to be a new superstar in boxing that it's with Mayweather Promotions at the end of the night. But you have me, my friend, very excited, even more so than I was when I first got on here now, because you're giving me hope that this is going to be a competitive fight at least the 7th round.
This will probably be the 2nd most competitive fight that we've seen so far this year. I know it sounds crazy. People are not giving the credit where it is due. Everybody says it's a horrible pay-per-view buy. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't buy this pay-per-view. Promise you that. I would not do it, but I would watch it. And I think it's going to be a competitive fight. It's going to show tonight that Tank needs to move to 140, even though he's not really big enough to compete with your Prograis and Garcias and stuff like that at 140. He's the king at 135. I mean, they'll duck that fight between him and Garcia. You'll never see that fight. So move to 140, fight somebody. Hell, next thing you know, he'll be moving to 147, 154, trying to fight Charlo or something. That's what everybody else is doing, jumping 3 or 4 weight classes. So
yeah, that's true. They are jumping up now. I mean, they jumping up, especially when that Shakur comes to your division. Now, that's a real, you see people fleeing like crazy then.
Hey, and I see a thing on CJ Hooker. I may place a bet on Rolly getting a 1st round KO. Hey, I would do that too. It wasn't available when I went to the casino yesterday. I would have probably taken that bet too. The 1st round is going to be dangerous.
That's right. William Hunter is right there by Biloxi's best casinos. So let's go ahead and thank our Mr. Wonderful Hunter for giving his predictions and getting us super hyped up. And if you want to just hang in there, you can see our old school boxer trainer, Sherman Henson, who's in the DC area. I must go ahead and warn everybody. So he might be a little biased, but we're going to see what this old school trainer has to say. Thanks so much, Hunter.
Thank you. Take it to the bank. 6.5 or more.
All right. All right, Sherman, we got you up now. The legend is in the house. You tell us, you're the one that's got that old school training, know them styles that happened up there in DC. Go ahead, give us your prediction.
Well, my prediction is that it's going to go past 7. Okay, the way I look at it, it makes 7 by 7. Tank will have figured him out, and then Tank is going to go to work and do what he has to do with it. After that, it's a done deal. I really don't think Rolly has nothing but a puncher's chance of winning. I don't think Rolly doesn't have technical skills to beat Tank. Tank is one of those fighters. Yeah, he's irritated by Rolly and all of his antics that he's been doing and saying everything that's come out of his mouth.
Okay.
I know Tank. I've had a kid that's fought Tank before. Tank is going to beat Rolly. And the thing about it is that the way you punish a person that's been running their mouth is to take them through the rounds and beat their ass. That's what you do. You don't knock them out. You beat their ass so they remember what happened to them. When you knock them out, they don't remember it. But when you beat their ass for a while, then they will remember that ass whooping, and then you knock them out. And that's what Tank's going to do with Rolly.
Oh, so you basically are saying that he's going to punish Rolly.
Exactly. Rolly's going to get punished. He's going to get an old school ass whooping. And that's how it happens. And that's the way that's going to work. Okay? Rolly's going to come out there early and try to get Tank out because he has something to prove, because he's been running his mouth. And that's what Rolly's going to come out there to do. So what you do, you weather the storm that Rolly's going to come out there with, because he has to prove that he's better than Tank. Tank has nothing to prove to Rolly. Rolly has to prove that he's better than Tank and that he can knock Tank out. And that's just that simple. It's that easy. And that there's no way you can change that. So what Will's talking about, Will is talking about betting, making money. Will is not talking about as a trainer. Will's not talking like a trainer. Will's talking about gambling. Okay? What do? You gamble on everything. I'm talking as a trainer. Okay? You box him. He's going to box him. And the thing about it is the corners. His corners. You got one person, you got man in the corner with Tank that has the skills and the knowledge of what to do. You have another man in the corner with Rolly that doesn't have that knowledge that Tank has coming back at him. Maybe Floyd's going to have to pick and choose who corner he's going to be in, yelling and screaming instructions to tonight. That's what Floyd has to do. And I'm not a big Floyd fan myself. I am not a Floyd fan because Floyd handpicked his opponents. Just that simple. For all you Floyd fans out there, Floyd is not on my greatest top 10 list. Hello. So that's how we go about this. So basically, Tank and between 7 and 8. Just that simple.
All right. So Sherman Henson, coach, trainer extraordinaire, basically he's saying that Tank is going to punish Romero for running his damn mouth too much and trying to get under his skin. So he believes that it will be a long punishing bout in which Tank will have his way with Romero and then end it around the 7?
Between 7 and 9. Say 7 and 9, Tank will end it.
All right, before the championship rounds, he thinks that it's going to be ended quickly. Now, I'm going to bring in our own host, Danny Santiago, and see if he agrees with you or not. All right, guys.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing, Danny?
Do you agree with what Sherman is saying?
See you soon, buddy.
Listening to the guy Will and listening to Coach, some of the stuff they do say it makes sense. But I'm with Coach. Look, I look at all the variables. You know what? Tank is having issues making weight, but what fighter hasn't had issues making weight? I've had it my whole life, right? So every fighter has that. Rolando Romero, he talks a good game. He has a good puncher's chance. I'd like to. I just told you I don't think it'll go past 5. I mean, I would in my heart of hearts. I don't think it'll go past 5, but I'd like to see go at least 7 or 8 rounds. I like what Coach was saying. Tank going in, punish him. He's going to take a round or 2 to figure him out because that's what he does, right? But once he figures him out, I like him to punish him. I like him to break him down to the body. I'd really like to see him break that body down, and take him to school. The kid, Tank has 200 some amateur fights. He has 24 pro fights. This kid has 14 fights. All right, he got there. He found his way there. He talked himself into a fight. But the reality of the situation is that the boxing acumen that Tank has, I mean, is immeasurable. You can't compare them. They're apples and oranges. And I don't know. I think he got under his skin, but I think that at this level of the game, I think Tank is he's taking all that in and letting him strengthen him. I don't think he's going to let himself get too out of control. I think it'll be a mistake if he gets wild with Tank. I mean, with Rolly, because Rolly is a hard puncher, and he's wild. He's awkward. He's like a Ricardo Mayorga. So if you feed into that, it may go south on you, But hopefully his coaches keep his mind focused, which he has a really good corner. Look, I know people in Tank's corner, and they know a little bit about the game and stuff, but Tank's corner, look at the people that have in this corner. The boxing knowledge is there. The people that he's been with, they have 24 fights together, and plus the amateurs, they know who they got in front of them. 14 fights, the people that are with him, I don't know that they have that much influence on him. I think this kid is, he God bless him. He's not playing with the full deck when it comes to things, because sometimes that ego could put you in a position you can't cash that check with the words that you got, But it'll be interesting nonetheless. I'm with Coach on this one, where I think to myself, I hope it gets done within 5 rounds. But the other side of it, I like him to punish him a little bit and put him in his place.
Yeah, well, another thing is this, is that, and like, I listen to people like Will, who's actually not boxing. He's not. For me, I look at people like you, Coach. You, Danny. You are a boxer. You're a boxer, and now you're a coach. You train fighters. You've been there. You've done it. You know what it takes. You know how it works. Okay. People that have never been in the ring and never done it, it's hard, for them. They're just going off emotion, and they're going off of what they feel. We go off of what we know. We've been there. We've done it, and we know how it works. We know what it takes. We know it comes from our gut. It's gut work. It's gut work, and it's knowledge with that gut work that we use to make things happen. Right? And like they said, in that corner, it's going to be where Tank gets it done, because they're going to control Tank in that corner. They're going to control him and make it work for him. Rolly's corner doesn't have control over Rolly. Rolly controls the limb. Rolly controls his limb. That's what happens. That's the
100% right. Like I was mentioning, you just mentioned right now, whereas, Tank, this is not his first rodeo. This is not his first grand stage that he's been on. And this is probably, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest opportunity that Rolly has ever had. And probably outside of Casamayor, I know a Bullet, good coach, good guy, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is probably the biggest opportunity they've had, And I do see some things that there's no self-control there, and there's no one control. Sometimes, look, you have a pit bull, an animal, or a dog, and sometimes you gotta let them go, right? Because they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And Rolly does have a puncher's chance, and his style is, you look at the way he boxes. It's very awkward. It's very frustrating, and I would hate for it to go to be a DQ, like the gentleman Will was saying. But I just think that Tank's boxing, his intelligence and his experience in the game, there's nothing he hasn't seen already. And if he lets something like this, somebody like him get under his skin, then what was all that experience for? I just think the experience is going to come into play. The corner is going to come into play. The corner is going to keep them under control. He has a great corner, and they're just going to put in the work. He's going to come out there, try to flick his will on them with his hard punches and stuff like that. But Tank has pretty good defense, and he has good boxing skills, and he'll break them down. He'll break them down, and he'll put them away like a true professional boxer would do.
It's exactly how it works. And people don't understand that when you are in this business, and you've been in the business as long as I have, and been around the people I have been around. Excuse me one moment. You learn these things, and this is what works. And with Rolly's going to come out there. Rolly is more emotional than Tank is. I can guarantee you, because Rolly's been doing all the talking. Rolly sold all the wolf tickets. Rolly sold all the wolf tickets. Tank has just sucked it up. He's listened to what Rolly had to say, and Tank has just basically sucked it up until it's gotten to a point where it's bothered him, and now Tank is responding. But see, what's going to happen is that the corner's gotten Tank back together. Now, for his Tank's jaws being sucked in, his jaws are sucked in because, yeah, he can't make the weight anymore. Grant you that. That's why he's moving up. Another thing is this. They did mention, Will did mention the rehydration. Tank has a wonderful rehydration pattern where they work on rehydrating him. Okay? So guess what? You have 24 hours to rehydrate. And the way he rehydrates is going to be off the chart. Because this is one of the biggest fights in Tank's career. Because this means more to Tank than him winning the belt. This means more to Tank than winning the belt, because this is a fight against a person that he does not like. This is like someone breaking in my house, like somebody breaking in my house and stealing something out of my house. I'm gonna beat you like you stole something from me. That's what Tank's gonna do. Hello.
I mean, you're saying that all of this, drama and the tit for tat and the different videos, etc. You saying that this is real beef? I'm just thinking that it's just a hype game for the fights.
No, it's not a hype. This is not hype. This is not hype. Rolling has really gotten up under Tank's skin. I can give you. You know why I can say this? It's because I had a kid that fought Tank as an amateur. And I tried to calm this kid down from running his mouth. This is in the regional tournament. And Tank sat right behind him. And I knew Tank was right behind him. And I told my kid was a 2-time national champion. And I told my kid, be quiet, because I saw Tank behind him, right? And Tank was going to fight him. And the next thing you know, Tank's sitting there. And when they get in the ring, and they went at it. And I mean, it was one hell of a fight. Tank won the fight. Tank came out there and he did his thing. So for me, and I know how great a coach I am. I'm not saying great, but how people put me on that pedestal, whatever they want to do. But how good a coach I am. But the point is, I've been around Tank. I watched Tank work, and I know the work he puts in. His training isn't second class. It's world class. And that's the type of work Tank gets and training he gets. Tank coming to work. And
Guys,
Rolling.
Will is got something to tell you. Will is saying, all right, since he's talking gambling aspects, are you saying that he's correct when he says no more than 6.5 rounds?
No more than
Regardless
6.5.
of who wins.
It's going past 6.5 rounds. It's going past 6.5 rounds. That's what I just said. It's going past 6.5 rounds. Well, it's past 6.5. I said between 7 and 9. Isn't that what I said?
Yep, that's what you said, but he's gone and he's texting me this.
I know it. I said between.
So he can't hear you.
I said between 7 and 9. Am I correct, Danny?
You did. I said personally that if he goes out there and just try to go wild, Rolly tries to go wild with him, he's gonna get caught with a shot. I don't think that Tank is gonna, with all his boxing intelligence and his experience, I don't think he's gonna. Hopefully, when his corner keep him there, won't let himself get wild. And if this kid goes out there trying to swing for the fence, he's going to get caught underneath 5. I'd like it to go more than 5, 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, because at the end of the day, I like him to break him down and just punish him, and send him home and let him to reboot and rethink about the shit that he was talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah. And put him in his place. But if he goes out there and he tries to make it a slugfest, the kid hits hard, but his defense is suspect, right? And he does a lot of wild things, and I think he'll get caught. But if he goes out there, I think what he's talking about right now is bull. I think he's going to go out there, try to test him a little bit, but then he's going to try to figure things out. And then, Tank's going to figure him out and take him to school.
All right. Will has chimed in here, and he says, I picked over 6.5 in my pick. Watch Tank versus Francesca, and he fell apart. If that Tank shows up tonight, then it's gonna be interesting. The rehydration was bad for him then. Looks like it will be an issue tonight. He would have lost that fight if not for that DQ. He was frustrated.
I'm not. You know what? That's like looking in your rearview mirror when you're driving your car. That's in the past. That's in the past. Don't you think they've learned something since then? Well, hello.
100%.
Hello, Will. Wake up and smell the coffee. And all. Matter of fact, you can have some of mine.
Sherman getting smart over here. What?
But the point is this, you know, it's going to be a good fight. But they haven't mentioned anything about Tank's power. They haven't mentioned anything about can Rolly take a punch. I've not heard anybody say anything about that. Can Rolly take a punch? They haven't mentioned anything about Tank's power. They're only talking about Rolly's power. Oh, I forgot.
That is very interesting that you would
How
say
many
that.
knockouts? I forgot. How many knockouts does Tank have?
Right. He is known as the knockout artist. So I did find it interesting that no one was talking about Tank's power versus Rolly's. It's been all talking about Rolly's power.
Hello, wake up.
A few months ago, they were a year ago, a few months ago, they were talking about Tank is like the new Tyson, the miniature Tyson, you know. So yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
It's all about Rolly's power. Women, Tank dwindled down and became a little softy. Tank has become a little softy. Wait a minute. You know what? I got this. Oh, his last fight, when he messed his hand up, that's what they're going off of. When he messed his hand up with the kid, the Mexican kid. Oh, that was a great fight. And Tank showed you his boxing skills. They forgot about
it. Yes, sir, Coach. Let me tell you something. When he hurt his hand, and I think he really showed his boxing acumen. I think he really showed what he was capable of doing, because he wasn't just going out there and blasting them out. He was thinking, and he was boxing, and he was showing skill.
Shakur, how long ago did I tell you Tank could box? I told you, everybody's thinking about Tanks and the knockouts. I said, but Tank can actually box. No one has ever seen Tank box. They think Tank is just a bully. Tank has always had boxing skills. He just never had to show them. And I said, by moving up in weights, he will show you his boxing skills, because he's going to have to use them. Hello, wake up, smell the coffee. This kid
is really, is he really going to have to use them? Because the fights that I've seen Rolly in, no, I don't see where he needs to be used a whole lot of extra boxing skills on, to be honest.
He's not going to use his boxing skill. He's going to use his boxing mentality. That's what's going to happen. Because guess what? With Rolly is the type of fighter is that you boxer use the ring on him. You use the ring on Rolly and let Rolly tire himself out, because Rolly's going to come out there trying to knock you out. He's coming out there trying to knock you out. You slide in, out, and angles on him. And that's what you do. And you touch him, you frustrate him, right? You touch his body as often as you can. You're in, out, angles, up and down, touch him, touch him, move. Make Rolly frustrated. Just like a gnat in your room. Touch him, make him try to find you. And then all of a sudden, as he's rushing, trying to kill you with those punches, guess what? You put his ass to sleep. Hello.
Just like that, huh?
Just like that.
All right. Will says the past repeats itself.
Yeah, in your dream.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, Kareem also was going for Rolly, and he says not only is this a win for Rolly, but it's also a win. No, he didn't, for that woman.
Rolly,
he put his hands on.
Rolly
no,
wins.
You didn't, Kareem. No.
Rolly is a win.
Move on. I gotta move on.
Rolly is a win. It's a win for Rolly any way you look at it, because he's in there with a great fighter. It's a win for Rolly any way you look at it. He's in there with a great fighter.
With just 14 fights. I mean, come on. You got to give the guy credit where credit's due.
Hello.
I'm giving him credit for just being able to say, hey, I want this fight, and sticking to it. A lot of these guys right now are not fighting each other, and they damn sure don't want to go after the best in the division.
Yeah, there it is. And my thing is this. Tank wants to fight the best, and Floyd's holding him back. That's why he's leaving Floyd. Tank wants to fight the best, and Floyd doesn't want him to. Floyd wanted him to be like him. Pick and choose, Pick and choose, pick and choose.
Yes.
Boxing is not about that. Boxing is about fighting with the man that's next up in line. That's what it's about. Next man up. Floyd, you handpicked his opponents to become, for everybody to say he's one of the. Hell no, Floyd, you never have been. Sugar Ray Leonard would have beat your brakes off your ass. Okay, if you'd have fought Shane Mosley in his prime, Shane Mosley would have beat the brakes off your ass. Okay, Sugar Ray Floyd, I know Floyd, and I'll tell him to his face, he could not have beaten any of those top 10. He couldn't have beaten top 15. His daddy said it. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, that's another subject for another day when we're gonna have to bring Sherman back to tell us his top 5 pound for pound of all times. But
Floyd's not in it.
Satura, the only thing I'm worried about on this fight, they both have power, so you can't discredit that, right? The only thing that I'm really worried about is that Rolly's under the Floyd Mayweather banner, and Gervonta is going to walk away from the banner, right? So when you look at that, sometimes you have to read between the lines. So if it goes a distance, and there's always a possibility that it can go the distance, right? Sometimes you gotta look at those things and say to yourself, what could happen? You know what I mean? I have my own little issues. I fought in Vegas, and I fought with a guy who refs a lot of Floyd's boxing events, you know what I mean? And when I fought on there, my eyes swelled up a little bit, but I was still in the fight. And then I remember I saw, and I got stopped on the fight because my eye was supposedly shut. When the referee asked me how many fingers I had up, how many fingers does he have? I told him he had 10. He didn't ask me how many he had up. He says, how many I have up? I said 7. So I was being a smart ass. So I just let him know that I see what was going on. I was coherent, right? Then he had another guy who fought that I won't mention his names. There was bleeding. It was just blood everywhere on the ref, on the coaches, on the other corner, everywhere. And he let the fight go on until the kid was able to win the fight. So if Gervonta is going to lead Floyd Mayweather Promotions, and he's going another route, it's something that could play into this stuff. You know what I mean? And that part of it worries me. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because that is pretty much part of my actual prediction, because I think that Gervonta knows the odds. He knows what happens when these cards go to the decisions. And for that reason, I believe that he knows that he has to perform at peak. Not to mention that he's sick of Rolly running his mouth about him. So I feel that it should be at least by 5. I feel that it's going to be a KO in 5 or at 5. And basically it's going to go to Tank, because he knows how serious this situation is for the remainder of his career. Taking a loss right now is not in his favor. It's not something that he needs to be doing or thinking about. And I think for that reason he's not going to allow that to go to the scorecards. And if it does somehow go to the scorecards, then I do change my mind and feel that it would be a split decision draw or a split decision rolling. That's my prediction.
Okay. One good thing about it is not in Vegas. One good thing about it is not in Vegas. It's on a neutral site.
For both of them.
Yes, for both of them.
Yeah, that's correct. It isn't a neutral site, but we all know that the bigger promoters can, negotiate for what judges and for what things they want on these cards, including the referees. But shout out to the referees that had their conventions this weekend over in California while I'm at it, because I do love certain referees.
But something, just to let some of these fighters out there know,
Mm-hmm.
In title fights, fighters do have the right to pick and choose and find out what judges are going to be on the fight. You can find out what judge is going to be judging your fight, and take and say, I don't want that judge.
Exactly.
I don't want that judge. They can do it. Fighters don't realize that. A lot of fighters don't realize that they do have the right to say, I don't want that judge, because that judge may be biased towards me for one reason or another. They can do that.
I'm glad you're bringing up a subject that's close to my heart. You know, I have some issues with some things that was going on with a certain judge that's from Florida. And so therefore, I definitely think that, you know, more boxers need to be aware of the fact that they don't have to accept whom people want to throw at them as judges. Now,
hey, Sakura, real quick. Something I want to talk about. I want to, since we have the show together, I'd like to bring up something in the future when in terms of judging, refereeing, coaching, things like that. Like there needs to be something implemented where these people are graded or tested or something like that. Because first and foremost, you see these people become judges. Where do they go to school at? How many, you know, how many amateur fights did they referee? How many amateur fights did they judge? There has to be some, because, you know, most fighters go this route. You know, they build a resume, and then, you know, referees, judges, you know, and coaches for that matter. You know, nowadays coaches throw a towel over their shoulder and they're a coach, and nobody investigates them. Nobody finds out anything about them. And I know I got off the subject, but I definitely would like to do a show about that someday.
No, I think it's an excellent idea, and we definitely need to talk about that starting next week, how we can incorporate a segment each week on one of these topics you're saying, or have a special edition in which we investigate and find out and also give information to boxers before they choose a trainer. Let's go ahead and let's talk. Will is still chiming in with you guys. He says it's all been about Rolly has no chance, not about power. You're tripping now. Nobody asked because they are not concerned. What does Tank have to lose? Everything. Rolly moves up even with a loss. And he could
Is that what I just said?
Frustrate an old Cuban second round with a torn Achilles heel. All right, he's talking about Gamboa now and how he, you know, successfully got through all the rounds except for the 12th. That's when he had the late stoppage. Go ahead, Sherman. I know you have something to say about that.
I just want to say, a shout out because my Jaleel Hackett, that's who I want everybody to watch. That kid right there.
Yes, Jaleel Major Hackett from DC area. He's going to be the Showtime undercard for Tank versus Rolly. You can see his fight at 7, starting with the undercard that's showing on Showtime's YouTube channel. So guys, tune in to see Jaleel Hackett, as well as Choo Choo.
Yeah, Luis Melendez. Don't forget him. That kid is awesome.
Yes, and then I'm also rooting for Luis Arias, who had his big win over Hurd. And of course, you got Lara, Cuban pedigree, fighting tonight. Even if it is, you know, Sullivan, he's got to take who wants to fight him, guys. Let's realize that. Leading up to the big main event card tonight, the main event with Gervonta versus Romero. And let's see who else has something to say. We have Jose Morel. What's up, Jose? And he says, well, I'm going to share a dream I had a few nights ago. Tank KOs Rolly in 3rd round. All right. That's a nice dream. Did you put some money on it, Jose? I want to know if you put some money on it. And then Cutman, he says, Pryor would destroy Floyd.
That's right. And Pryor would have. Like I said, his dad told the truth that Floyd couldn't. And back then, Floyd Jr. learned from his dad. And the thing about it is, it's a different era of boxing, totally different era of boxing. Floyd Jr. would not have lasted with those guys, because those guys back then, they were all technicians. They all had, every one of them knew how to make adjustments, and they knew what to do. And those guys fought great fights. And those guys were all punchers too. If you look at every one of them's record, if you look at every one of those guys' records back then, they all had knockout a higher than 50% knockout record percentage. They didn't have those 19 and 20% knockout percentages. And that's what Floyd was fighting. Some guys that had lower than 20% knockout ratio. He would go out. It's all about fighting the guys that could fight. Now this day, nobody wants to fight nobody. It's because the promoters and the managers are protecting their fights. If you got to fight, if I have something that I know is good, I'm willing to put it out there and let everybody see it. I want to let them know how good it really is. That's why I'm looking at it. Because if I'm investing in something, I want to make sure this investment is well worth it. Because it can only bring me more money. That's all it can do is bring me more money. And I want to get rid of it if it's not.
You know what I noticed? Even from my time, but before my time, 70s and 80s and all that stuff, when fighters were fighting, they broke them down. They hit them in the elbows. They hit them in the shoulders. They hit them in the hips. They would break them down. And nowadays, fighters are just looking at the head and certain body shots. But I remember back in the day, my coach was telling me, hit them in the hips, hit them in the elbows, break them down. And fighters nowadays don't do those things, as far as I see. Not many of them do.
Yeah. No, I teach that.
Another thing that I'm noticing is that what a lot of these protectors, I call them, what they're doing is they will have their boxers fighting people that are way, they started out in way lower weight classes, right? So like their opponents will be someone like they're fighting at welterweight maybe or junior welterweight, and they want their opponents to be either lightweight or super featherweight or somewhere from a different lower weight class that's coming up. And that's how you end up with fights when you have like a Lemieux fighting a Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's from a way lower weight class, but they're coming up in weight just to face this particular opponent. And I think the fans should be aware of that and look up some of these opponents sometimes and see if, that jump on those ropes in celebration after a win is worth it or not. Is it any value behind it? Or did you just do what you were supposed to do?
True. Because they're not fighting guys that are true guys in that weight class. They're not fighting guys that basically been fighting in that weight class for that long period of time. They're fighting guys, like you said, that are coming up from different weight classes, and they're catching them when they first come up. So it's this era of boxing is just, I don't know. It just, it turned. I like the guy I have, and Antonio Torres Jr. We're looking to fight anybody. We don't care who we fight. The guy that Coach Danny has, the guy Coach Danny has is a great fighter too, and he's looking to fight whoever he put in front of him. Whoever they put in front of him, he wants to fight. That's all he wants to fight. All he wants to do is fight. And he don't want to fight somebody that's below him. He wants to fight somebody that's above him. That's in that they don't want to fight the lesser guy. We want to fight somebody that will make me work, make me earn mine.
And help you learn something. And help you learn new tricks of the trade.
That's it.
All right, we got William Hunter back. The Hunter says, then why can't Bud catch a payday, Sherman? He isn't good enough to make money. He can't cover purse and opponents with pay-per-view. Sad truth is boxing is about money. Look at the YouTube show in Tampa. Sold more than 30 and PBC.
The reason why Bud can't catch a payday is because of who he was with. And that's basically because he was with his protector. Okay, they weren't matching. These promoters, they don't work together to put the best shows together. That's what the problem is. You said it right the first time. The protectors, right? If the promoters work together to match these guys up, then you will get all these fighters will make great money. Promoters will make great money, right? and all of the boxing fans would be happy. Boxing would actually be back on the top of the list as opposed to MMA. Okay, and that's why boxing has fallen off. It's because of these promoters, these matchmakers. I mean, promoters, and excuse me about the matchmakers, but it's promoters and the managers. These so-called managers and promoters, they will not match these fighters against each other. They will not cross lines to match these fights and make these fights happen. That's the problem. That's the problem. You know, even back in the day.
I agree with you. I think the lane is open for YouTubers that like this Tampa show, because there's a lane open now for people that want to see the most competitive things, or they want to see like KOs, or people just actually going at it more. So I think they're leaving a lane open when they're not able to match up these great boxers with each other for huge matches.
Would you believe Bob Arum and Don King actually put on the show together?
Yeah,
they did, and that was one of the biggest shows. And it made money.
Yeah,
but these matchmakers, and I mean these promoters and promoters and managers will not do that nowadays. They're protecting their fighters so much that it's like all these, and you got so many fighters nowadays. I understand the fact that you have to make more belts. Yeah, okay, I understand that, but make them fight, put them against each other, cross those lines, because guess what? We make money. You make money. The fighters make money, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, I know this area is all about the money. It's always been about money, but hey, sit down, negotiate, talk it over, and make money for everybody. Everybody gets fed.
100%. Listen, I'm a trainer now. I've been a trainer for like the last 10 years now, but I've been really focusing on training fighters now, and I'm completely retired for the last 6 years. I tell my kids, and I moved to this country where I'm living at now, and I tell these kids, and I don't have to say too much, but I'm not looking to take the marathon route to the top. I'm trying to get there in the sprint. I'm trying to get there as soon as possible. I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. And the only way we could do that is by finding people who have heartbeats and have decent records and have a winning chance. Because if we beat those guys, then we could be in line for doing certain things. My boys are all, underprivileged and of dark complexion. And I don't like to bring race into the issue, but the reality of it is that if we're going to do something, we're coming from another country and we have a different complexion or whatever the case may be, we have to do things. We have to be a little bit better. We have to be a little bit smarter. We have to be a little bit, take more chances. So I match my kids up against, my kid is 6-0. I put him in there with a guy who's 5-1. My kid is 9-0. I'll put him in there with a guy who's 11-4. You know what I mean? And when we beat them, and we beat them in a classy way, then it shows the world and the people that I'm trying to impress that these kids are worth investing in and giving a shot to. Look, at the end of the day, like you just said, like everyone knows, it's reality. It's all about money. And one thing we have at our advantage is all my kids are under the age of 25. Once they get comfortable, it's a wrap. They ain't going to be hungry no more. If they're sleeping in silk drawers, they're not going to be hungry anymore. If they're not, trying to fight for a living and to put food on the table, they're not hungry anymore. Once they start making money, it goes downhill from there. So we got to keep them. You're only young once, number one, and you're only hungry for a while. Because even some of my boys now, when I first came here, to be honest with you, some of them didn't even have sneakers, or a mouthpiece. And, now I bought one of them a couple suits and stuff like that. He's still hungry. He's still got that fire. But once that diminishes, it's a wrap. We got to go get them now while they're still young. Because once they start getting comfortable, a boxer that sleeps in silk drawers is not a hungry fighter. So I tell my kids, we're going to go at this. Right now, we're hungry. Right now, you don't know everything. Right now, you respect me. Right now, you listen to me. So that's when we're going to do it. Because once they stop listening and once they think they have everything, then I don't serve a purpose, and neither does anyone else.
Well, guys, we're going to end the show right there with that. I'm so proud of both of you guys for sticking in here with me and hearing out the predictions and then breaking everything down strategically for us. Sherman, as always, I love you, and we'll see you on June 17th, baby, for the 10K Boxing Florida Boxing Hall of Fame fight, and also for the rest of that weekend for the Hall of Fame events. So, guys, if you want to go ahead and get those tickets to that fight, you can just go to Eventbrite and look up TNK Boxing's Florida Hall of Fame fight. And you can go to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame's website to get your room booked for the discount and get your tickets to all of the other events, including that beautiful gala that we have on Saturday night, in which we, show homage to some of our past and present inductees, including Danny Santiago from Colombia. He'll be in the house, hopefully. So, everybody, we're going to have a great fight night. And Victor says, what time does the fight start? You can officially see the undercard starting at 7 p.m. on Showtime Boxing's YouTube channel. And then you can see the remaining of the fights at 9 when they come on the pay-per-view card. Now, for me, I just want to say thanks to everybody that came on today. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we are trying to build that channel up. And then also make sure you like IG, Twitter, and Facebook if you don't have it, even though you're seeing this on here. All of it is at Boxing Playhouse. And see, I think Sherman's phone is just going off. He's so wanted. He's so needed. And it's somebody probably wanting to know who you got. So, for all of us tonight, make sure you tune in to see if these two are right or if William Hunter with Rolly is right. I can't wait to see myself. And guess what? Hopefully it's my prediction. So, we'll see you for another tune-in night next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Latin America as well as After Dark series. And it's a ladies' night, so we're going to have some beautiful ladies on board that will be joining us straight for the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Until next week, we love y'all. Bye, guys. Thank you.
See you later, Coach.
Bye later. See you later, Danny. See you, Shakur.